that ego is a reflection coming from the absolute self. But in the state of ignorance, in your sankalpa, it is ego that joins in. Ego-based, tamasic, rajasic ego. When that ego is pronouncing its sankalpa, it's just like you have a monkey on your neck and you are guided by, not by yourself, by the monkey. But you love the monkey so much that you don't mind. So that's the predicament of sankalpa in the majority of people. But same monkey can become Hanuman. Second. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Sthiti Prakarana. Presently, we are entering into section 48. And the story of Dasura continues. Just to remind you of the story. The great sage Saraloma in the country of Magad. His son was Dasura, very devoted son. But while his son was still young, Saraloma passed away. And his wife had also passed away. That means Dasura was without father or mother. But at this stage, father passing away, Saraloma was, rather Dasura, was grief-stricken. I have already explained to you. Saraloma is a soul that has profound spiritual aspiration based upon his insight. Insight is like sharp, pierce. But insight that allows you to be thrilled. Loma, all the hairs stand upon your head. See, it's called wow. Saraloma was that type of personality. And his son Dasura excels Saraloma in his spiritual enrichment. He is, Shura means heroic. Da is the whole mantra for three das. Dhamma, control of mind and senses. That allows the divine values to develop. Daivi sampat to develop. Dana, charity. That allows human values to become highly elevated. And daya, compassion, that allows the demoniac aspect to be sublimated. So, a soul that is enriched by these three great virtues, Dhamma, controlling the mind and senses, Dan, charity, Daya, compassion. In a world that gives you all negative things, you are a hero if you are only go after the Da and get prasad. Prasad also has the same implication. Da from which all the strength proceeds. Proceed, prasava, prasad. They are similar, you see. So such a soul, equipped with these three great nourishing elements, spiritual nourishment, is a spiritual hero. That's what Dasura word means. When he was extremely grief-stricken, the deity of the forest consoled Dasura, saying, "O wise sage, why do you grieve like those who are ignorant of spiritual truth?" And talking in that line ultimately ends up saying, "O Dasura, do not grieve over the loss of your father." Thus being consoled, Dasura performed the rites for the departed soul of his father. Then, urged by spiritual aspiration, he engaged himself in the performance of austerities. As time passed, he acquired indirect knowledge of the scriptures. Knowledge of scripture has two stages: paroksha gyan, aparoksha gyan. Paroksha gyan is called indirect knowledge. Your intellect has come to understand that Brahman alone is real. It's just like you have come to understand that certain hotel gives the best type of nutritious food. That's paroksha. But when we actually go there and begin to eat the food and be nourished by it, then it's called direct. The old style parable demonstrates this. 9 people, friends in a village, crossed the river for a kind of an entertaining trip. When they crossed, suddenly the idea came, are all companions come together or not? So they sat down in a circle. Each one stood up and counted and found one was missing. They found only 8 because they're not counting themselves. Each one counts and finds only 8. All the 9 sat down and started grieving over the loss. A good person comes by, intelligent person, listens to their problem. Then he counts and proves that each one of you is the 9th. So, the loss over which you are grieving, you are the fulfillment of that loss. You figure that out. And divine, profound way to where we are leading to, Aham Brahmasmi. Each one is Brahman. Paroksha Gyan, indirect knowledge, allows your intellect to grasp it. You have all the data, intellect has come to understand it. That, of course, Brahman cannot be more than one, absolute, non-dual. And if you are a reflection of the sun, then you are bound to be the sun. Your reality is not in the bucket. Your reality is the sun. No matter how much you dance in your bucket, that has nothing to do to affect the reality, which is the sun. So you are destined, speaking in a figurative language, to realize I am Brahman. So 2 stages to have an intellectual grasp, which is what you promote by listening in satsanga. But when you go on practicing integral yoga in your daily life, then you have successive stages of discovering that all that comes from within you. God is not to be looked for elsewhere, but God is the very source even of your ego, the reality behind your ego. And that type of knowledge is intuitional knowledge. He developed the notion that if he were to practice meditation in a place that is absolutely free from all distractions, he would attain the goal of life in a very short time. You must note this being allegorical story. If he had indirect knowledge, he wouldn't be committing that mistake. If he has completed indirect knowledge, the question that he should find a place where he can sit and meditate, he will not be bothered by that. But since it is allegorical, there is subtle meaning behind it, and I will explain to you. Now what is being brought out? Where is the ideal spot in this mighty world process? Everywhere you direct your attention, it has lots of problems. Putting in a very ordinary way of simile, you are looking for a place which is quiet, calm, free from distractions. Where can you find it? And put it more in a mature way, when you develop interest in spirituality, your mind handles the problem. Where should I find my kind of property or find a residence where I will not be bothered by neighbors or even from howling jackals or many noises? And if you allow your mind to work upon it, there isn't a place which has no limitation, which has always some limitation. Every place has limitation. So therefore, what should you do? Through your meditation, discover a space within yourself. In spite of all that, a psychic space begins to develop within yourself where you can withdraw from the world. When you meditate, what happens? You have moved away from the world and found a space. In that space, you find another miracle, the space goes on expanding. Another miracle, that a space devours all the distractions. But first finding the space. And that space, potential space, is always there in every individual. If you live your life with sadhana, with perfect control, you will find every day you have some space where you move away from the world and you draw spiritual inspiration. And if you have drawn spiritual inspiration, you have made your day. That's subtler point, but let's follow this story and see how the story brings out. At this stage, in the storyline, Dasura is equipped with immense psychic powers. Dasura projected a residence for himself way up on the top of a beautiful tree, whose manifold branches reached out in all directions. This tree is Bhavavriksa, world tree. And he has found a spot on the top of the world. The whole world is being viewed with a vertical vision. In brief, he has found a transcendent spot within his heart where the world is transcended. Not only that, you are in a state where you can demolish this entire world tree. You have to be out of the tree on its top so that you can cut it down. The topic of the tree, I'm just quoting one of the Upanishads, Taittiriya Upanishad. One of the peace chant, Aham vrikshasya reriva. I am the uprooter of the world tree. See, that type of Sankalpa develops in the Dasura, to be on the top of the world. For what purpose? Uprooting the tree. My glory is above the mountain top. My wisdom, let me read this Sanskrit first. Aham vrikshasya reriva, kirtihe prishtham gireriva, urdhva pavitro vajaniva, swamritam dravinam suvarchasam, sumedha amritokshitah, iti trishankor vedanuvachanam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The powerful peace chant. I am the uprooter of the world tree. My glory is above the mountain top. It doesn't refer to ordinary mountains, figurative language. My wisdom is like the effulgent sun that shines above the heavens. I am the very embodiment of nectar. Nectar is immortality. My wealth is a shining treasure of jnana, wisdom. My intellect has been purified by nectar. Thus did sage Trishanku declare, now the figurative study, endowed with psychic powers, Dasura projected a residence for himself way up on the top of a beautiful tree, whose manifold branches reached out in all directions. Elephants enjoyed the cool shade. So Dasura found a residence on the top of a mighty tree. And what type of tree? It's a beautiful tree whose manifold branches reached out in all directions. Elephants enjoyed the cool shade under the tree, while birds of different types continuously sang among the branches. The tree provided for the sage a perfect location for all his intensive practice of spiritual disciplines. Birds are divine feelings that fly. Spiritual strength is the elephant that sits under the tree. Sage Dasura practiced deep meditation and mentally performed various sacrifices and Vedic rituals. As time passed, he became free from the taints of ragadvesha, attachment and hatred. And just as the sun reveals itself with the dispersal of the clouds, the knowledge of the self was revealed to him. And in this setting, ultimately he attained enlightenment, direct knowledge. One day, the enlightened Dasura saw a forest goddess offering prayers to him. He asked what she wanted. She explained that she felt so badly not having a child, while all her friends were proud of their children. She told him how, during the spring festival, which was celebrated in the heavenly gardens, Holi was celebrated. Many forest goddesses came with their children, but she, having none, felt so mentally distressed that she was even willing to give up her life. It's parable. See what it simply means. Dasura has attained enlightenment. That's called nirvana. The whole world has become vanished. But an enlightened sage, his description is not just he has cut down the entire world, but his description is another aspect. He fills the world with spring-like fragrance that allows the souls to be lifted up. Vasanta vat lokete charanta. He moves in the world like spring season comes into a forest. The entire forest begins to shine in a special way. So every enlightened person, even while you are moving towards enlightenment, every good act you do, it has its impact on the world. As you blossom, you have a fragrance about it. And spiritual enlightenment is the greatest blossoming of the soul. So that blossom benefits countless people. That is brought now into a storyline. And storyline, Prakriti, prepares to bring the message of the sage in a profound way. Prakriti, nature. So this is the Banadevi, is the deity of the Prakriti, who wants a special child. Her friends are other gods, little gods, goddesses, giving different types of fruits of karma. But she wants a baby who will give fragrance of enlightenment, inspire people to be enlightened. All this is not written there, but that's the implication. Sage Dasura gave a beautiful flower to the forest goddess. As saying, just as the creeper becomes decked with lovely flower, so you will be blessed with a beautiful son. However, your son will become an enlightened sage and will not be attached to the pleasures of the senses. Having received this boon, the forest goddess left and went to her abode, while Sage Dasura continued to live alone in his tree-top dwelling. In course of time, the forest goddess was blessed with a beautiful son. When he grew up into a handsome young boy of 12 years, the goddess took him to sage Dasura, saying, "O sage, this is the son as a result of your blessings. I have educated him in all celestial arts." In the philosophy line, now that divine son has been educated in apara vidya, all lower knowledge. Prakriti has prepared all that's needed. Knowledge had two stages. Apara, the knowledge that allows you to deal with the world. It's a relative knowledge. Para, revelation of the self, absolute knowledge. For absolute knowledge, you have to be channeled through Guru, the spiritual precept. So therefore, she brought him to sage Dasura. Now you must endow him with spiritual knowledge. And that was the whole purpose of Dasura. To allow his knowledge, I am Brahman, to be supplemented by that. It is Dasura himself coming as this son of his through Prakriti. They are supplement, complement. Says Dasura replied, "O the goddess, let your son stay with me, and because he is an ideal disciple, I will impart spiritual wisdom to him until he is enlightened." The sage then gave his spiritual teachings to the son of the forest goddess for a very long time. He narrated the stories and parables of the scriptures and elaborated upon their meanings. And he discoursed upon the subtle secrets of the mind and soul. At this stage, Sri Vasistha continued, "O Rama, must realize ultimately it is Vasistha who is giving all these narration to Rama. O Rama, once while traveling through the sky in an invisible form, I happened to stop and listen to some of the teachings given by sage Dasura to his young disciple." He was not invited, you see. He sneaked into it. I'm joking. Spiritual knowledge, no matter how secretly you are holding it, it goes viral. So Vasistha is, instead of giving this spiritual teaching direct to Rama, creates a story. He listened. What did he listen? Rama becomes more alert with his ears. This is the art of spicing up the art of teaching. And actually, he is the one who is giving this story. I happened to stop and listen to some of the teachings given by sage Dasura to his young disciple. I will relate to you one of his interesting parables. Now, what's the parable? Sage Dasura said, "O son, there is a powerful king named Kotha, who is famous in the three worlds. Even great divinities obey his command. And just as the sky cannot be fought with, In the same way, no one in the three worlds can affect or harm this great king. By Kotha is implied God. God can be seen in two ways. God, as you are focusing your mind as source of bhakti. God as Brahman, the ultimate reality. In technical way of explaining it, Brahman becomes through the maya of Prakriti. Sattva predominating Prakriti, Brahman through Sattva predominating Prakriti takes up the role of Ishvara, God, the ruler of the entire universe. And that God is Kotha. Kha is Akasha. Absolute. Akash term is very special term. That's why all the divinities are presented like blue color. And Akasha term relates to three levels. Physical Akasha, physical space. Mental space where thoughts move, feelings move. And the absolute space, which is just pure consciousness. And the Kotha is from that pure consciousness an emergent, profound mystical figure. In simple way to understand, Kotha is cosmic mind. And cosmic mind, that Kotha is the basis of all minds. It's Kotha that has become minds of all types of people, sattvic mind, rajasic mind, tamasic mind. Now, speaking in allegorical way, this Kotha, his glorious deeds are as numerous as the waves of the ocean. He has adopted numerous bodies consisting of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, and the entire universe consisting of 14 planes. All that go to form his chariot. All directions are permeated by him. He has created numerous human bodies for his dwelling place. He has also created numerous ego centers to rule these bodies. At times, when in association with distracted mind, the king desires to roam in the worlds of dream. It is Kotha that is now subjected to all types of mental experiences of all souls. Shouldn't give you much problem. The same sun creates countless reflected suns. All reflected suns have their own story. Each reflected sun is different from another. But who is behind all these stories of reflected sun? The sun. So ultimately, the story of the sun. All your mental world and mental worries, these problems, and ultimately enlightened state of mind, which is the real project of your mind. All that is based upon Kotha. So that Kotha is operating as enlightened mind in sages, is operating as terroristic mind in tamasic, rajasic personalities, is same as what Rajiv says. yoga chitta vritti nirodham, man eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. That chitta, that cosmic mind, is the source of your bondage as well as your release. The whole story of bondage and release come through the cosmic mind. Degrade the mind itself has the power to degrade it. And it has the power to uplift it. At times, when in association with the distracted mind, the king desires to roam in the worlds of dream, while at other times he wishes to enter into deep sleep. All that you are experiencing, all souls, human body, animal body, bird, all are Kotha operating in so many personalities. Having listened to this story, the young disciple asked, "O sage, please explain the mystic implications of the king Kotha." Sage Dasura replied, "O child, Sankalpa, born of supreme ether is Brahman. Sankalpa is mentation, the mental process. Mental process born of supreme Brahman is called Kotha. Led by its desires for externalization, it intensifies its own existence. While adopting the will to negate all desires, it brings about its own dissolution. It causes bondage, it brings liberation, both possibilities. So too, this entire universe is a miracle produced by Kotha's mind. The three worlds with their numerous contents have been projected by the Sankalpa, the will. And when Sankalpa is destroyed, this world ceases to exist. Now, from this you have to understand the role of Sankalpa. Sankalpa is will. But people who have not controlled their mind, mind is highly distracted and deluded, then the Sankalpa that exists through that mind is of a negative nature. A Sankalpa that is more in the terms of Vikalpa. Mind is simply trying to find out which is what, but have no definite direction to go. Now, the same Sankalpa movement, it becomes sattvic. If you are putting it in the right direction, then it's called Shubha Sankalpa. If your Sankalpa becomes highly advanced, your mind has come to a state of developing a mystic will. May I live for attaining liberation. Liberation is the only goal. Then it's called Dhruva Sankalpa. So Sankalpa plays part in every little thing you do. And it is sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. The ego sense is formed by one's own Sankalpa. Even the ego is sustained by your mental delusion. Because ego is not a reality. Because when you look for your ego is nowhere. It's not in your body, not in your mind, not in your intellect, not in your unconscious. That ego is a reflection coming from the absolute self. But in the state of ignorance, in your sankalpa, it is ego that joins in. Ego-based, tamasic, rajasic ego. When that ego is pronouncing its sankalpa, it's just like you have a monkey on your neck and you are guided by, not by yourself, by the monkey. But you love the monkey so much that you don't mind. So that's the predicament of sankalpa in the majority of people. But the same monkey can become Hanuman. So then your sankalpa is Drisha sankalpa for attaining Rama, the absolute self. But until you have come to that state, learn the art, learn to understand sankalpa and its role, and how you must move away from ashubh sankalpa to shubh sankalpa. Negative way, mind has developed a will. Suddenly you decided you are bored. Ask the Google, where can I be? Find excitement. And Google brings out lots of possibilities. Now you decide it. Now you create your sankalpa, which one you want to do. Once you have developed a sankalpa, you are trapped. You have gone into a plane. Now it is not under your control. So therefore, great care has to be done in developing sankalpa and falling, going through the trap placed by the sankalpa. That is avoided if you are doing sadhana, doing your prayers, having satsanga. A divine assistance comes in automatically. So how egoistic you are is based upon how you have directed your sankalpa. If your sankalpa has been directed in a rajasic, tamasic way, then your ego becomes very powerful because you are not providing joy for your heart. You are providing joy for the monkey. And that monkey is highly distracted. He will not be pleased no matter what. So your sankalpa becomes the cause of one's own misery. Just as a monkey, due to its frivolous nature, removed a peg from a bifurcated piece of wood and had his own tail snapped. The old storyline. Carpenters do many things, and sometimes a plank has been bifurcated. And while bifurcated, it has something holds the bifurcation. The two aspects are held separate because there is a little of a stick. Now monkeys playing, they put their tail in the bifurcated and take the peg out. Take the peg out, then the bifurcated plates crush the tail. Seems very ridiculous, but that's how it operates through every individual in different degrees. That's called error. And then you have to correct it. So to a person causes his own pain and pleasure according to his sankalpa. But comes a monkey and he goes on playing with the pegs. Therefore, O child, Withdraw your mind from all objects of the world and enter into deep samadhi. Become free of all desires and sankalpas and endeavor to abide in Brahman. Sankalpa of the mind are of three types according to three gunas. Tamasic sankalpa, that's the most demoniac type of will that leads one to lower embodiments such as worms, insects, flies. Rajasic sankalpa leads one to human embodiments where one becomes attached to various objects of the world. Sattvic sankalpa leads one to the attainment of virtue, and a bigger movement leads to liberation. Even if we were to practice austerity for thousands of years, or enter into fire, or allow your body to be smashed, or jump into a deep well, or run through sharp swords, or seek, yet it is not until the sankalpas are destroyed that you can attain liberation. All this to show until your sankalpas, this type of willing for various objects, enjoyments of the world, as long as the sankalpas are ruling you, you cannot attain liberation. O child, you have been led by your own sankalpa to assume various embodiments. Having encountered various conditions of life, but having understood the illusoriness of the world, do not direct your sankalpa towards any objective attain. Let your mind become free of sankalpa and become as peaceful as the awareness of profound deep sleep. Padartha bhavana, the entire world is really as if you are in deep sleep. Only then will you be enlightened by spiritual knowledge. With such a foundation, you will be able to root out the entire world tree. No more sitting upon the tree. Arising out of ignorance. May you, O child, endeavor to attain supreme bliss. And with this I will conclude. All this Vasistha listened and related to Rama. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.